Good morning everyone. This is 8th class biology class, 8th standard. Up to 7th standard you are having general science. Only one textbook is there up to 8th standard. In that general science only you study, you learn about plants, animals, physics, chemistry, everything. But now from 8th class onwards we are having two textbooks. We are having two textbooks. One is physical science and one is biological science. Physical science is included physics and chemistry. Next, biological science. And shortly it will be called it as biology. Biology is the combination of botany and zoology. Biology is the combination of botany and zoology. Actually, if you divide the word biology, bios means life, logos means study. So, what is biology? Study of life is called as biology. Who discovered the word biology for the first time? Who discovered biology for the first time? Means Aristotle. Who discovered biology for the first time means Aristotle. Aristotle. So, Aristotle was called as father of biology. Aristotle was called as father of biology. Next, what is botany? Botany means study of plants. Study of plants. And what is zoology? Zoology is study of animals. So, biology is the combination of botany and zoology. We will learn about plants and animals. That means whatever it means, how plants will be produced. That means all digestive processes, all the life processes. Life processes. What is meant by a life process? Life process. What is the life process means? The process which requires to complete the life of an organism. So, what is meant by a life process? A process which requires to complete the life of an organism. Organism, either it may be plant or animal. Plants and animals both are considered as living organisms. So, a process which is required to complete the life of an organism is called a life process. Then, what are the life processes? nutrition. 7 important life processes are there. How many life processes are there? 7 important life processes are there. What are those means? First one, growth. First one, growth. 2, nutrition. Nutrition. Growth, nutrition, reproduction, respiration, excretion, stimulus and response, stimulus and response, and the last life process is locomotion. That means moving. Movement. Moving. So, a life process means a process which is required to complete the life of an organism. That is called as life process. Then, 7 important life processes are there in all living organisms. That means living organisms means plants and animals are considered as living organisms. Now, what are the 7 life processes means? First one is growth. Growth can be observed both in plants and animals, and one only difference is here. In animals, up to some age only growth can be observed, but in plants, growth can be observed throughout its life. Next, nutrition. Nutrition means providing nutrients. That means providing food. That process is called as nutrition. In nutrition, we know that in 7th standard we had learned autotrophic nutrition, heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition means the organisms which can prepare their own food. Autotrophic nutrition, which cannot prepare their own food, but means which depends on other organisms for their food, or that type of nutrition is called as heterotrophic nutrition. That is nutrition. Next, reproduction. Reproduction. Producing again. That means giving their young ones, giving birth to their babies. That process is called as reproduction, to continue the race. Race means life. Next, respiration. We know that respiration. Breathing in, breathing out. Taking of oxygen and releasing of carbon dioxide. That process is called as breathing. After taking that oxygen, mixing of oxygen into with digested food and releasing of energy. That process is called as respiration. It is meant by respiration. Mixing of carbon dioxide with the digested food and releasing of energy to do work. That is called as respiration. Next, excretion. Excretion means sending of waste materials. Sending of waste materials from the body. That process is called as excretion. Sending of wastes from the body. That process is called as excretion. Next, stimulus and response. When we touch any hot substance, that is stimulus, immediately we will remove our hand. That is response. That means this process depends on nervous system. Okay. Last one is locomotion. Locomotion is the only difference which can be observed in plants and animals. Plants cannot move from one place to another place. They will be fixed at one place only. But animals can move from one place to another place. That is about life process and types of life processes. Then, what is the first chapter in our syllabus names? What is science? what is science? What is science? The first unit. What is science means nowadays technology is well developed. That means computers are there, mobiles are there, and moreover robotic is also came now. In some of the well developed countries, they are using robots instead of humans. So people are thinking in different ways to know the new things. Next, what is meant by science? Science means it's a way to understand better of human efforts. Science is the process of thinking, knowledge. Science is the organized study of knowledge. Science can also be called as organized study of knowledge, and is a tool for searching new things, is a tool for searching truths of nature. Science is a tool of searching tool of truths in nature. Next, science is the way of exploring the world. So science can be defined in so many ways. How means science is a process of thinking. Science is a process of thinking. Science is a tool for what? Science is a tool for searching. Science is a tool for searching truths of nature. Science is a tool for searching truths of tools of nature. Science is a way of exploring knowledge of, that means exploring the world. Science is the way of exploring the world. Next, science is a organized study of knowledge. Science can be defined as an organized study of knowledge. Next, what is the fundamental rule in science means questioning. Questioning. Generally, in other subjects, they will give some topic and that should be just blindly we will learn them. In science, we can't learn anything blindly. We must have to show experimental evidence. Evidence must be shown. That means we must show some proof for each and everything. That is science. So, what is the fundamental point of science means questioning. Some examples we can observe. Why does the leaves falls down on the earth when they get yellow color? There's a reason for that. Why can't they go up? Scientists are not sitting silently. Nothing will happen if the leaves will fall down. For that, they had searched what is the reason for that. What is the reason for reaching each and everything to the earth only? That is, you know very well, that is gravitational force. Next, how does the ants knows where the food is? Knows that by getting the smell. Clear? Next, pickles. Pickles do not spoil for a long time, but remaining food materials will spoil within a short period. What is the reason for that? Generally, in pickles, we mix some oil, salt, turmeric powder. It stores the food for a long time. It does not allow the food to get spoiled. That's why the pickles will be stored for a long time, but remaining food materials cannot store for that much of time. Next, how are diseases will be caused? What are the reasons, and how can we overcome the disease. That means what is the way of controlling the disease. This one also will be studied in science only. Farmers. Farmers are afraid of unseasonal rains and uncontrolled pests. So, scientists are giving suggestions to them. How can they overcome those problems? Okay. Next, so many types of scientists are there. That means here so many branches are there. Let us discuss some branches. Okay. Some branches of science. What are the branches? Means ecology, chemistry, biologist, formologist, like that. Ecologist. Who is called as ecologist? Means a scientist who is doing researches about ecology. Ecology means our surroundings. That is called as ecology. Next, chemist. Who is doing his experiments in chemistry was called as chemist. Biologist. Who is doing his experiments in regarding to biology. Next, formology. Formology means about formology. Formology means about medicines.
Papa.
About medicines. Next, why science? Individual perspective. Individual perspectives means some scientists are showing interest to observe, to know new things. But some people used to investigate the previous things. That means already known. From that, some will be, that means they want to improve. Already, for example,
Hello?
a scientist had discovered about a disease. Then, a new scientist, what he will do means, he will do experiment again on that disease. That means he want to know something more about that disease. That is a individual perspective. Okay. Next, social perspective. Social perspective means here genetics. For example, if you take one of the branch of biology, that is genetics. What we will learn in genetics means transfer of genes from parents to child. What is genetics? Generally, we are getting some of the characteristics which are there in our parents and grandparents. For example, we will have some type of behaviors, such as some people are having what we say, eating nails, and some will having thinking power. They will think like their parents or grandparents, and some of our eyes, ears, a nose will be like your parents or like your grandparents, like that. That means these all will be genes. Genes carries The DNA is a genetic material. DNA is genetic material. This DNA carries the genes from parents to children. We used to observe that whether that if some boy was missed, then after a long time if they were met, they will have the consideration that that child was related to that father only. How can they know? Means by doing DNA test. They will collect DNA from father and DNA sample from father and child, and both will be tested. If both are getting same characteristics, then that child will be considered as his son. That is genetics. Genetics is the branch of science which deals about carrying of characteristics from parents to children. Next, a botanist. If we take botanist, botanist means who are doing research about plants. What is the work of botanist? Generally, he used to do researches about which type of plant can be grown there and what type of nutrients it is required for the growth of that plant, like this. All those should be observed by botanist. Clear? Like that, different scientists will be there. Next, pharmacist. Just now I told. Pharmacist will observe which type of diseases will be, which type of disease was caused to that organism. What is the reason for getting that disease, and how can we control that disease causing organism? All these will be studied by a pharmacist. Next, science and change. What is the change in science? Generally, scientists had discovered so many things. Nowadays also scientists were discovering new discoveries. That means they are doing new discoveries. But the result of these theories, Karl Popper, scientist Karl Popper, what he told about science means science is a history of corrected mistakes. According to Karl Popper, science is a history of corrected mistakes. What is the definition given by Karl Popper? Means science is a history of corrected mistakes. After this person, Albert Einstein, he told that fellow Einstein every year retracts what he wrote the year before. Fellow Einstein every year retracts. That means again he will retract which was discovered in the last year. That is. Next, while discovering the things, scientists has to follow some method. That method is called as scientific method. What is meant by scientific method? Scientific method means the process which was followed by scientists to know their inventions. That method is called as scientific method. In this scientific method, 5 processes are involved. How many processes are involved in scientific method? 5 processes are involved. What are they? Observing and questioning. Observing and questioning. The second scientific method is hypothesis. Second scientific method is hypothesis. That means forming hypothesis. Forming hypothesis. What is meant by hypothesis? Expecting answer. It may be like this. That means prediction. Guessing the answer. That is called as hypothesis. Now, the third step in scientific method is planning and experiment. Plan and experiment. Next, fourth process is conduct an experiment. Conduction of experiment. Then conclusion. Then last method is conclusion. That means, for example, to make better understand of this scientific method, we will take one example. Here we are having bean seeds. What is the method here we have to follow means, which soil is perfect for growing bean seeds? Then what is the first step in scientific method means observing and questioning. We should have to ask to farmers which soil is better and which soil will give us more productivity, and what are the nutrients required for the growth of that plant. What are the nutrients required for growth of that plant? Then how much duration it will take to get the crop. Like this, we will ask all the questions to the farmers. Not only farmers, who are having better knowledge about that, agriculturist. Okay. Then the second step, form a hypothesis. After asking questions, we must make all the answers in a, that means we must write all the answers in a paper. That is formation of hypothesis. That means we will get some expectation. That is hypothesis. Next, plan an experiment. For planning an experiment, we must have to collect 3 types of soils: sand soil, clay soil, and rock soil. So, for planning an experiment, we must have to take 3 pots. Have to select 3 pots. In those 3 pots, we must take in 1 pot clay soil, in 1 pot sandy soil, in another pot rock soil. That means red soil. Okay. And we must pour water to it. That is planning an experiment. Third step is completed. Conduction of experiment. In the fourth step, how we have to follow this fourth step means, actually, after conducting the experiment, planning the experiment. So, while planning the experiment, we are having 3 pots filled with different soils. Now, we must sow the seeds in all those 3 pots. Here, conduction. We are conducting the experiment. That means we must have to observe time to time. First day, second day, third day, how much growth we are observing in each pot. Like that. That is the fourth step. Finally, conclusion. Drawing conclusions. We must note down all the growths. That means all the differences which we are observing there. Drawing conclusions. Finally, we must give a conclusion. Clay soil is better for sowing bean seeds because comparing to other soils, it was concluded here, clay soil is better for growing bean plants. That is conclusion. I think you had understood what is meant by scientific method and what are that methods. Scientific method is a method which was followed by scientists to solve the problems. That method is called as scientific method. Next, what we have to do after knowing all the conclusions? Investigation further. How we have to investigate? If your hypothesis, we had concluded here, clay soil is better for growing bean seeds. Then we must have to hypothesize whether your experiment is right or wrong. Then, if your hypothesis is incorrect, again we have to start the process from first onwards. That is scientific method. Next, process skills. Next topic is process skills. In process skills, 3 steps are there. Observe, compare, classify. Observe, compare, classify. Why? Okay. For knowing, that means for getting better understanding of process skills, we must observe one example. One of the boy had collected some shells from the sea. Shells means gawal. Different types of shells he had collected. First, what he has to do? Observe. He has to observe what are those. That should be observed first. Then, compare. He must have to compare them. This is big, this is small, like that. He has to first compare. All these are big things, all these are small, all these are spherical in shape, all these are round in shape, like that. He has to compare. Finally, classify. Which are having same characteristics, those should be classified into one group. That is classify. Understood? So, 3 process skills are there. One is observe, compare, classify. What is the definition for observe? Using sense. By using sense, we must have to learn about objects. Sense, that means knowledge. By using sense, we must have to learn about the objects. That is observe. Sense, using sense, have to learn about the objects. That is first step. Comparison. What is meant by compare? Identify the characteristics of things. Identify the characteristics. Of things. And comparing them. identify the characteristics of things and comparing them. That is compare. Next, classify. Classify means here group the same things into one class or same objects into one class. Otherwise, for knowing better, we will collect some seeds. Jowar, cereals, jowar, rice, Bengal gram, red gram. Okay, all these will be mixed. What is observation here? We must have to observe what are those. Okay, these are all seeds. That is the first step. Next, compare. How we have to compare? Jowar seeds are round, spherical in shape, and rice seeds are lengthwise, then spherical, like then what is that? Beans or what's that, kidney in shape, like that we have to compare. Finally, classify. We must classify each and every one into different groups. All rice seeds are kept in one side. That should be kept in one group. Then jowar seeds should be kept in one group. Like that it should be classified. I think now you had understood what is the process skill. What are the process skills? Clear? So, in today's class, we had learned about what is science, what is individual perspective, and types of science, branches of science, scientific methods, what is meant by scientific method, and how scientific methods will be followed. Then what is meant by a process skill? How can we follow that process skill? How can we learn that process skills? Up to this we had discussed in this class. In the next class we will discuss about next topic. Thank you to you all.